24 deaths overnight. It's the second deadliest day since this pandemic began here in Victoria. It does bring the state's death toll to 454. Now, whilst the numbers are sitting there, the Premier is also today sort of working to distance himself from the controversy sparked around that state of emergency, the part where they wish to extend those powers by an extra 12 months. We know, of course, they can only go on for 6 months at the moment, and that's due to expire in September. Now, the Health Minister today was again defending that move, but the federal government also really ramping up its criticism of the state government.
So I've raised our concerns with the Premier about that. I did that directly. I know others have. I know other Labor figures have, and I think it's important to dispel any uncertainty and get clarity around that issue. I think people are concerned that the lockdowns would extend for another 12 months. We received many calls through offices right across Victoria, and including in my office as well.
With the state opposition against it, as well as critical crossbench MPs in the upper house, Daniel Andrews will be forced to make a compromise should he want to get an extension to these powers. Just how far that will go, well, that remains to be seen. It is expected 3 months or potentially 6 months, certainly not the 12 months that he's been chasing. The Premier wasn't willing to be drawn on this yesterday, though.
Well, we'll see what the Parliament delivers. We'll conduct those good faith negotiations with members of the crossbench, Rich, and that's, I think, the appropriate thing to do. And I don't want to be in any way having those discussions at a press conference like this.
But meanwhile, Tom, there is a glimmer of hope for those parents who have been in the throes of homeschooling for some time now. The Education Minister James Merlino making the strongest indication yet that there will be a return to face-to-face teaching come term 4. Now, the Chief Health Officer also weighed in on this, saying that we'll likely see a staggered approach.
We're going in the right direction for that to occur. Usual caveats apply. If we're continuing on this trajectory, if people are doing the right thing, and if we can find every case and stick to the rules, then we're headed absolutely in the right direction for face-to-face learning at some point during term.
So good news for families who are hoping to get their children back into school. As for the 71,000 tablets and laptops that the government has handed out to families so that they can do that homeschooling, well, the government also saying that they will be able to retain those for the rest of the year, Tom.